Alright, here we are again. Hope everything is working in order again. Not sure what happened with my modem, but all of a sudden my internet went back to 2G, and apparently either there was something in the network or there is something with my modem. Obviously I had to reboot my modem and then it worked after a second attempt. So I'm not sure what happened there. Hopefully it was a one-off occurrence. This is KLM flight 749 arriving from Cartagena in Colombia, which is right next to... It is a 787-10 Dreamliner, 8 hours and 51 minutes on the way. The airplane is 4 years old, first flight December 2020. So I'm not sure if this is a modem issue or a network issue. Jendrosek says, I think it was KPN in this area. I also got kicked offline on my phone. Yeah, I am using KPN for my mobile router here. So if you had a similar issue here in the vicinity, then it might have been a KPN thing. Hopefully they won't screw us over another time. This is KLM flight 1772. E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Berlin, 1 hour and 2 minutes underway. The airplane is a year old, hailing from the year 2024, month not specified on flight radar. The wind isn't slowing down yet, so we still have crabby crosswindy arrivals here. In the meantime, good morning to all who have joined us in the new stream. Don't forget to leave a like in the new stream. This is a new stream. Jaish had a similar glitch with KPN just now in Dordrecht, so let's call it a KPN issue, which was hopefully only a one-off occurrence. And let's focus again on what we can expect. So like I said before, there are two Queens on their way from the west, and the Emirates A380 is expected shortly after 1 o'clock, so that is probably going to land on the center runway. If all is well, the two Queens should be landing here. In the meantime, a very good morning to all who have joined. 6K notifications on the website that if there are issues, disconnections or trouble with networks, people report it on. And KPN had 6K notifications around 10 o'clock, so definitely indicative of there being a problem on the network of KPN. Hopefully they have resolved it. Hopefully the viewers who were here already before the disconnect will return. We're now at only half of what we had just now. Such a shame. Always pissed off when stuff like this happens and connections go low, go buffering or whatever. A lot of people immediately sign off and never return, which is a shame because today is promising to become a very lovely stream with crosswind arrivals. Clementia, goedemorgen. This is British Airways flight 430, an A320neo arriving from London Heathrow, 37 minutes on the way, nominal flight duration, and they keep crabbing until the very end. Something I noticed. Oh, we are even being treated to a wheelie. Let's see. Has Captain Wheelie changed jobs and is he now flying or she for BA? Lovely. Next airplane coming in, KLM Flight 1352, arriving from Prague in the Czech Republic. Embraer 175, 1 hour and 11 minutes on the way. Hey there, Razor 013, Tina, goedemorgen. Mark, good morning. Vliegtuig Twente Spotters, good morning. Michael DCA, good morning. Stefan, goedemorgen. Henk, goedemorgen. And Daspi is also confirming had a KPN disconnect on his phone or her phone in Beeldhoven. Yeah, so there was an issue with KPN apparently just now. People from all over the country reporting a temporary breakdown of their connection. Hey there, Foster Darshane, good morning. Embraer 175, arriving from Prague. So the METAR is grossly overestimating the severity of the weather because it was still in the time we had showers. Let's have a quick look and see what the METAR currently is at. It's from 20 minutes ago, 5 minutes to the hour, 17 knots of wind. Wind is still from the southwest, broken clouds 15 degrees, a ceiling at 1,100 feet still. Although it is maybe opening up a little bit. Let's paste it in the METAR. Let's paste the METAR in the ticker and then let's be on our way again. Well, let's also, for those of you who joined later or who missed the first stream, let's also have a quick look on Flight Radar and see what we can expect. So there are two 747s on the way. Cargo Lux is now between Ireland and mainland England. Its ETA is 11:08 and we also have the Orange Pride with an ETA of 11:38. And Emirates is expected 1:16. There you go. And we also have our first dislike of the day. Thank you so much. Would the gifter of the dislike be so kind to elaborate on why you gave a dislike? Just curious. Trying to learn here. Air France aborting its landing probably because this mofo was on the runway too long. Or maybe they weren't stabilized sufficiently. Is this Daisy Duck? It does look a lot like the duck with the ducklings yesterday morning. But then again, if that were Daisy, where are her ducklings? Crosswind effect on the mouse click. That could be it, Karsten. That could be it. A fat finger trade. Let's assume it was just that. If all is well, United Airlines Flight 968 should be next to show itself. Yeah, there it is. Arriving from San Francisco. That's a 777-200. Hey there, Hans, goedemorgen. Dirkie, goedemorgen. Asylum says, I guess they don't like the weather. Yeah, well, it would be nicer if the sun were out. I'll grant you that, absolutely. Yeah, you're right, Danny. People are impatient. And because people have shorter attention spans, I was also trying to make some YouTube shorts again, because I have, in the meantime, since I started this channel, become a bit more handy with video editing software, so it doesn't cost that much time anymore. But when I made a short and tried to upload it, YouTube didn't recognize it as a short. Whatever I tried, it didn't matter. So I now have let go of it again. So those with a short attention span will have to seek different sources of entertainment. I'm just going to continue with either live streams or regular videos for the time being. This is United Airlines flight 968, arrived from San Francisco. 10 hours and 3 minutes it has flown to get here. It's a 777-200 and will it use the reversers and will it get some spray in the air? There is still plenty of moisture on the tarmac if all is well. This airplane is 18 years old, first flight March 2007. Nope. Guess we'll have to wait for another Delta. Delta needs to show how it's done. Hey, this is a no reverser landing even. The slots stay shut. What? No cleanup. Dukman wonders if it will promote the channel more when you create shorts or short videos of nice landings or takeoffs. I'm not sure. I think they are different. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, what's the word? There's a nice word for it. Just like how Apple has its own ... versus Android. No, not audience. Not atmosphere. What's it called? Either way, shorts cater to a different audience. It's a different... what's the word? No, not operating system. Ecosystem. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Veerboot. It's a different ecosystem. Shorts cater to a different audience than long form format, let alone live streams. So even though it does bring in new viewers, there's probably not a lot of cross exposure, because people that watch shorts and like shorts typically have a shorter attention span and usually don't help in bringing in more viewers for the live streams, for instance. Ecosystem, that's the word I was looking for. I need vodka. Stat. This is LL flight 337 arriving from Tel Aviv in Israel. It's a 737-900. 4 hours and 35 minutes underway. Still, it is nice to mix some content up. My current library of content, mostly for the vast majority, consists of live streams. It seems to be the norm to differentiate and also do other types of content. LL having landed here, 11-year-old airplane. Once did we see outward features of the alleged anti-missile system. Not sure that it was anti-missile system, but there was something on one of these airplanes that we were able to see on the outside of the airplane, and I think it was between the wheels of the main gear. Alan also back in the chat, good to see you. Ed, good morning. Patrick, goedemorgen. Good morning. Ari, goedemorgen. Next airplane coming in, TUI flight 365, arriving from Bonaire. It is a 7878 Dreamliner, now underway for 8 hours and 14 minutes. Crab, crab, crabbity crab. That is what I'm talking about. Motivation, good morning. MSM Haug, good morning. Maarten, goedemorgen. Hans Horst, goedemorgen. Now, there should be plenty of moisture still on the runway. It's just a matter of finding an airplane whose pilot is willing to use the reversers. I'm counting on Delta, which I'm sure we'll see later in the show more of. Oh? Yeah! Thank you. Now, speaking of technical problems that we had before recently, the crackling, if my audio is crackling, let me know. Before going live during the first stream, I did listen extensively and was walking around, moving about to see if I could trigger the crackling. I wasn't able to do that. I didn't hear anything. I hope you guys are also listening to smooth audio, but if you are hearing any crackling, by all means do let me know. No crackling. Thanks, guys. That is good. Let's keep it like this. We have a working stream, working audio, and a few interesting airplanes are coming. Michael, has he been spotted already? Second airplane is for him. Lufty CRJ, arriving from Munich. And this is Air France, a Bombardier C-Series 300, arriving from Paris. Hey Lise, goedemorgen. Melix, goedemorgen, good morning. Robert, good morning. Mike, good morning. Karsten could not hear any crackling. Thanks for that, Karsten. Knut, good morning. Patrick, goedemorgen. And Anja. Me, myself, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody. Indeed, Marco, Viagra is in the air. Wind on the scale of chimney smoke currently is looking like so. And wind on the scale of flag of windsock looks like so. Now also a bit of blue in the background. It does look like our custom emoji, doesn't it? That's a very erect windsock. Viagra is in the air. Air France Bombardier C-Series 300. In the meantime, a warm welcome to the viewers who have joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy and this is the Polderbaan runway 18 right, the primary runway for inbound traffic today. Secondary runway is going to be the center runway. So parallel arrivals expected later from 11 until 11:40. The secondary runway is opening up and we'll be having an inbound rush hour for 40 minutes. After that, from 11:40 until approximately 1 p.m. this runway is going to stay the only runway open for inbound traffic. Everything coming in to Schiphol will land on this runway. If you're enjoying the show and you haven't already, consider leaving a like. It's a free and easy way to help promote the channel and its content to a wider audience. Liking and subscribing, it's free and easy to do and helps the channel reach a wider audience. Next airplane coming in is a Lufty Flight 2302. It is arriving from Munich. And after that we are going to see a 777-300 arriving from Cape Town, South Africa. There you go. Crabbity crab crab. In the meantime, a massive big thank you to Fasro Darshine who just now gifted a membership, and I see that Dave Airplane was the recipient of the gifted membership. Dave, welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Fasro Darshine, thank you so much for your generosity and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Dave Airplane. Don't forget, you have 32 custom emojis now at your disposal for a month that you can use as much as you want. That goes for all members. I challenge you all to use the custom emojis as inappropriately as you can think of. Stone, good morning. Alrighty, next airplane coming in is KLM Flight 598. It is arriving from Cape Town, South Africa. Oh! That was a tippy-toey one. That was a tippy-toey one. Hope you guys were able to see that. That was a tippy-toey one. Wow, talking about thumbnail material. Holy shizzle. And of course it came in from Cape Town, South. Peter K, good morning mate. Bear with me, good morning. Yeah, I saw you guys saying that there was a temporary glitch in the stream. Hopefully it was back in time for the touchdown. Man, even Russell is impressed. Yeah, that'll be a separate video. Maybe not a short, but it will be a separate video, I'll tell you that. Next up is Tarom, arriving from Bucharest. Flight 361, 2 hours and 31 minutes on the way. Hey Dans, goedemorgen. And it was back in time. The stream. Wouter says, maybe a go around today. Well, there was already one early aborted landing from Air France, but we weren't able to see it. It was an early break away from the glide slope. Tarom arriving from Bucharest, 2.5 hours on the way. QJ asks, why from Bucharest? Waarom? Tarom. That's why in Dutch is daarom. That's D-A-A-R-O-M, which looks a lot like Tarom. Hey, good morning to all who have joined. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy and these are crosswindy arrivals here at Polderbaan. And what a tippy-toey landing from the KLM 777 arrival for Cape Town we had just now. Good morning, Al Mustafa. Petrikov asks, what's the weather today? A bit dry. Well, it is dry at the moment. Let's see, let's see if I can give you an update of the weather right after this landing. I'll be happy to show you the weather radar. If all is well, in the upcoming hours it should stay dry somewhat. Maybe an occasional droplet. Thought there were some showers expected later in the afternoon. It's mostly windy right now. Next airplane coming in. KLM flight 1268 arriving from Copenhagen, and let's have a quick look. Yeah, Cargo Lux is also approaching 747. The orange pride is also expected. A refresh of the METAR will tell us that it is now 16 degrees, 17 knots of crosswind. We have a ceiling at 1,300 feet. Oh. And the weather radar. This is the last hour. The showers are drifting away. You can see that over the Gulf of Yorkshire, sometimes there are some droplets forming. So we do run the chance of maybe getting a few droplets on our heads here a bit later. But for now, it looks like we are going to stay dry. How much longer remains to be seen, but if all is well. Stefan asks if by any chance a 747 is expected. As you guys could see just now, there is. Cargo Lux flying over England. Should be arriving here in half an hour or so. Next up, a Chinese triple arriving from Shanghai. There it is, clearing the clouds. Giving me a moment to update the weather in the ticker. Hey Diano, goedemorgen. And welcome to the show, all others who have joined us in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy and we are standing here at a crosswindy Polderbaan. Now the primary runway for arrivals. And in 25 minutes or so from now, the center runway is also going to open up. That'll mostly cater to traffic arriving from the east. Everything arriving from the west, normally, not always, but normally should come to this runway. This is China Cargo Airlines flight 209 arriving from Shanghai in China, and this is a 777 freighter. The registration is Bravo 223 Alpha. 10 hours and 51 minutes on the way. The airplane is 2 years old. First flight was in March 2023. Reversers, activate, come on. You know you want to. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, speaking of awesome, in the meantime, a big thank you to Laura van der Heijden, who just now went ahead, gifted 10 memberships just now. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge new members. Don't forget to say thank you to Laura if you are one of the 10 recipients of his 10 gifted memberships just now. You have 32 custom emojis at your disposal that you can use freely and however you see fit. I challenge you all to do that. Be creative, get creative with them, have fun with them. Laura, thank you so much for your generosity. 10 new members, courtesy of you. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge new members. So yeah, the wind is blowing from the west-southwest, and that is approximately over there. So that's why we need to look to see if rain is coming our way. For now, it looks like it won't. The police is also on the path. Yeah, you can see a few droplets on the lens. That's just slight drizzle. Well, not really, it's not even drizzle, it's just moisture that is floating in the air. Wouldn't be surprised if that was from the spray of the triple or something else. Maybe I'm speaking with consumption. Could be thakkertath. Lens should be clean again. In the meantime, a warm welcome to all who have joined. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy and this is the Polderbaan Runway 18 right. Crosswindy arrivals. This is KLM flight 1230 arriving from Göteborg. Embraer 175. Nicely landed. We are expecting the orange pride later. I think. Nee. It is Officer Roelof and his mate on patrol via the speaker. He asked me if I'm cold. I'm not. Goeie dienst, jongens. Officer Roelof and his mate. Officer Roelof, he was the second subscriber and one of our first members of the show. Already deep in the blue. He and his mate, I think it was back in the end of November 2022 when I did my first live stream ever. After I had just finished streaming, they were also, like now, they are driving up the cycling path, stopped by. We struck a conversation. They were wondering, what are you doing with all that equipment? For those of you who don't know, I am carrying a lot of stuff with me, so I have a little bit of a base around me and my tripod. So we struck a conversation, and those were the second and third subscribers and one of the first members of the channel as well. This is KLM Flight 1002, an A321neo arriving from London Heathrow, and after that Air Canada Flight 808 arriving from Toronto. They'll leave the reverser use for the wide bodies, leave the spray for Delta and maybe Air Canada. Will Air Canada use the reversers? The next landing, a Dreamliner? I wonder. Not sure. Could be. I'd have more confidence in them using the reversers if it had been Delta, but you never know. Air Canada Flight 808 arriving from Toronto, Canada, 7879 Dreamliner, 6.5 hours underway. Wagner, bom dia, welcome back mate, hope all is well. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight May 2017. Hey there Freddy, goedemorgen. Ilkink, goedemorgen. Iltink, sorry. That's a T. Alright, Canadian bank robber here to take our money. Let's see. How will it touch down? And will they use the reversers? They will. Yes. Not as much spray anymore. That is logical with the prevailing wind. Hide your money. The Canadians have arrived. This is a bank robber. Reasonably clean flap surfaces. Good morning, Liberator. Infinity, goedemorgen. Jessica, goedemorgen. Good morning. Hipma, good morning. Goedemorgen. In the meantime, a very good morning to all who have joined. Jane, also back. Privet. Next airplane coming in is Sky Express, arriving from Zakynthos. And also a massive big thank you to Karsten, who just now gifted a membership to Nadir. Welcome to the Aurora Skylounge, Nadir. And thank you so much, Karsten, for your generosity. And Jörg, aka JD, says, I'll donate 20 memberships if we can make the 1,000 viewers like the stream. In other words, we need 1,000 likes for this stream. And then he'll donate 20 memberships. That sounds like a nice challenge. Indeed, it is a bit windy over here, Jane. Although we are expecting more sunny weather later in the week. You guys are already having sun for the whole week. Hope it's not going to be too warm. And enjoy. Shizu asks, can someone explain why Air Canada wouldn't have used the reversers? Well, most airplanes landing on this long runway can just roll out. And if they don't get asked by ATC to get rid of to clear the runway soon or quickly, they'll usually opt to roll out, since that means that they won't have to wear out the engines by using the reversers. Also, it saves a little bit on fuel consumption. Noise abatement is also better when the airplanes are just rolling out. And now Wolfgang is doubling up and says he will also put 20 gifted memberships on top if we reach the 1,000 likes. So there we go. That's 40 gifted memberships by Jörg and JD if we reach 1,000 likes in today's stream. Definitely a nice goal to strive for. Now, let me scroll up a little bit, because in the meantime, Marco Plaggenborg just now went ahead and gifted 10 memberships. Mate, thank you so much for your generosity. That is truly generous and kind of you. I hope that everybody who received a gifted membership for you will thank you for it and will enjoy the custom emojis that they now have at their disposal for a month. Marco, dankjewel, thank you so much, and welcome to the Aurora Skylounge new members. This is KLM flight 1930, arriving from Geneva. Parallel arrivals have begun, and that's early. It is 10:44 already. They have begun. E2 Embraer 195, that's I think KLM flight 1850 arriving from Munich. That is weird. Let's see, this is Transavia arriving from Pisa. So they began early with opening up the secondary runway. Hopefully it is also going to close again a bit early. They are 15 minutes ahead now of their normal schedule. Usually the secondary runway opens around 11 until 11:40. In the meantime, Jan Jansen is celebrating 10 months of membership. 10 months, as always, still enjoying your streams. Thank you so much, Jan, for your kind words and for your ongoing support. I hope that everything is still to your liking in the lounge, and if we need new supplies of stuff, let me know. I'll put them on the groceries list. Jan, thank you so much for your kind words and for your ongoing support. This is Transavia flight 5424 arriving from Pisa. I could go for a slice of pizza. 1 hour and 45 minutes on the way, the PHXA. So yeah, a bit surprised to see that they are already opening up the central runway for arrivals. I think we are lucky enough to see ITA coming this way. Bob also back in the chat. Hey there, Irving, good morning. And yes, we are only filming the arrivals since the runway use will not change. And the wind also won't change anytime soon. In the meantime, Knut, thank you so much for your PayPal donation. I just received notification from PayPal. Knut Lechner, thank you so much. Breakfast for the duckies, he wrote. Thank you so much for the support, my friend. Much appreciated. Lisa says, what a coincidence. So could I. Did you know a certain pizza chain has 50% off on Sundays? You don't say. What? What a coincidence. Now, in the meantime, more celebrations over here. Aviations by Jensen is also celebrating today. 10 months of membership, 2 months to go green, amazing stream. And to you, boy, thank you so much, Aviations by Jensen, for your kind words and for your ongoing support. Do let me know if something is running low in the lounge. I know I sound like a broken record, but if anything can be improved, let me know. Thank you so much for your continued support, my friend. Last time we checked the METAR, the wind was 17 knots. No gusts have been reported yet, but I'm not too sure that there aren't any views, any gusts. Michael Jackson also back in the chat. You already missed one CRJ, mate. Arriving, Lufty arriving from Munich. It landed successfully. And just look at how these airplanes are crabbing until the very last minute. They basically land while crabbing, and then only do they straighten the airplane in line with the runway heading before the nose wheel touches the ground. Otherwise, of course, the airplane would veer off the runway pretty soon. Although they can steer, it is more limited at higher speeds. Air Arabia Iraq, and it arrived from Tangier, that's in the north of... Current status quo, looking to the north, this is what it looks like. Looking to the east, things look like so. Looking to the south, this is what it looks like. Southwest, actually a bit of blue over there. This is straight to the west. The wind is coming from this area, this angle. This is what we need to look to see what is coming our way. The wind is blowing from over there. And I think you can even see that there are linear formations of cloud in the direction of the wind. Pattern of cloud streets also under these conditions. A visualization of the direction of the wind. Of course, for the speed of the wind, we can have a look at the scale of chimney smoke and also the scale of windsock. The windsock is pretty erect. Viagra is in the air. Hadi Joke, goedemorgen. Yeah, it is still dry here. Absolutely. This is ITA Airways, one of two. The other one is already on the glide slope to the center runway, unfortunately, but at least we'll be able to catch one up close. ITA Airways, flight 120, arriving from Milan. And that is an A319, which was flying for 1 hour and 28 minutes until boom, 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 boom. Now. Oh, tail wiggle. Lovely. Even if the sun isn't shining, it is still a gorgeous livery. I think one of the prettiest, if not the very prettiest, out there. Joke asks in Dutch if there has been a go-around already. There we have had one, but that already happened soon and out of our view. It was Air France. I think there was still traffic on the runway, which is why I think it went around. Actually, bits of blue here, as you guys could see. Quite interesting to see. E2 Embraer is next to land here. Hey there, Yves. Goedemorgen. Good morning. Now, for those of you joining us just now, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy, and this is the Polderbaan runway 18 right, primary runway for arrivals, although parallel arrivals are now in progress. Let's have a look at what these airplanes are doing when viewed from the side at a bit of a distance. You can see vortices emanating from the flap tips. Relatively stable. It's probably leaning into the wind a little bit. And here's the E2. Right, it is time for another wide body. Delta Airlines is coming next, and I think it ought to emerge from the clouds somewhere here in the center of the field of view in a moment. Delta Airlines flight 162 arriving from Minneapolis, Minnesota. 7 hours and 43 minutes on the way. Fireworks being set off by the bird controller, and there it is. More fireworks by bird control. The airplane is 9 years old, first flight June 2015, registration November 824 November Whiskey. Happy New Year, guys. And the sun is actually shining now over here. I'm standing in the sunshine. And we're at 425 likes. If we reach 1,000 likes in the stream while live, both Jörg, JD and Wolfgang, Austrian Wolf, will gift 20 memberships. So if that's not a reason to like the stream, I don't know what is. Well, maybe because this is epic, but I'll leave that to you guys. Over here, we're standing in the sun. You can see over here the sun is shining. Over there where the Delta is still battling the wind, they're still in the shade. Now also, they seem to be flying into the sunshine. All right. Straightening the nose just a little bit, but it still looks like it is coming our way and is flying past us to the left. Now, yeah, straightening. Fire up those reversers, please. Excellent, excellent. Paul is still busy creating 1,000 accounts. Hello, well, indeed, mate. Right. Next up, KM Malta, arriving from Malta. There it is already. Let's have a quick look on Flight Radar, see what we can expect. There is a 747 inbound. These are the showers on the Dutch Met Office website. And we are situated over here. So for now, it looks like we are going to stay dry for some time to come. This is the METAR, which will probably be updated as we speak, approximately 5 minutes to the hour. Cargo Lux is expected. It is flying over the Gulf of Yorkshire. Its ETA is 20 minutes from now, approximately. Flying over the southwest of England is the Orange Pride with an ETA of 11:36. All expected before the next hour ends. Now an ETA of 1:03. It's making up significant time. It had an ETA of 1:12 before, and that is interesting. If it continues to make up a few more minutes, maybe, just maybe, the A380 is going to land here on the Polderbaan. Now, don't count on it, don't get your hopes up too high, but considering that its ETA is now 1:03 and earlier it was 1:12. Claudia, guten Morgen, herzlich willkommen. Sophie, goedemorgen. Jacques, goedemorgen. KM Malta arriving from, let's see, MLA. Is that Milan? No. Hey, Malta. What do you know? Touching down after 3 hours precisely. The 9H NEF. Good morning, Frank. Hope you're bringing us good news. Well, and there was an epic landing from KLM, the 777-300 arriving from Cape Town. I will make a separate video out of that one, because that was very spectacular. Next up will be JetBlue, arriving from Boston, Massachusetts, an A321neo. There it is, crabbing as if its life depends on it. JetBlue Flight 631, arriving from Boston, Massachusetts, 6 hours and 21 minutes on the way. And this is the November 4058 Juliet, 3 years old, first flight August 2021. TravelNet wonders in Dutch, why aren't you a pilot? Well, I did try and got pretty far in the selections. Then I had to do a medical. And then it turned out I was color vision deficient. In other words, my red and green sight is not up to the standards required to become a pilot. So unfortunately, I am not medically qualified to become one, funnily enough. It is the same friendly Japanese man who has been here now for the 3rd day in a row. Awesome. He has been taking pictures next to me for 2 days now, back to back. Always very friendly. He nods very politely. He is once again here for taking some pictures. We have play coming in as number 2, ladies and gentlemen members, so dust off that red emoji because it is time to use it again pretty soon. This is KLM flight 1030 arriving from Persenchester. That is the PHEXR, 48 minutes on the way. Embraer 175, 7 years old, first flight October 2017. Play after this, playtime it will be. Hey, Gary is also back. Good to see you, mate. So yeah, if we get to 1,000 likes in the stream while live, both Jörg and Wolfgang, aka JD and Austrian Wolf, will each release 20 gifted memberships. So that's 40 gifted memberships if we'll reach 1,000 likes during the stream. How far along are we? Oh, 513, so we're getting there. Halfway there. Looky here, it is playtime. Looks a bit pixelated, that's because I'm in the far end of digital zoom. Now I'm zooming back to the top end of optical zoom. In the meantime, a very good morning to all who have joined. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy, and funnily enough, KLM flight 644, a Dreamliner arriving from New York, JFK, is now behind the play airplane, but on the glide slope to the center runway. I wonder if that is because after play has landed, they'll do a runway inspection. It does look like there is a bird controller already over there, ready to do some inspecting. If that would be the case, would that mean that after that inspection is done, they're going to close the center runway again? They did begin opening up that runway 15 minutes earlier. See that Gav is also back in the chat. Good to see you. QJ letting us know that the 747 from Cargo Lux is designated to land here on the Polderbaan as expected, but it is nice to get confirmation, particularly since we saw KLM flight 644 going to the wrong runway. Boss says, I see 1.1k viewers, and that's the most he has seen. I think we have reached 1.8k not too long ago even, during another windy stream a couple of months ago. During the winter months, there's always more audience for aviation live streams than when we're heading for the summer here on the Northern Hemisphere. We did have 1.8k at some point during another stream, but it's definitely a day that draws in audience, and rightly so, because these crabbing airplanes are a sight to behold, and Polderbaan is the best runway to be viewing them. Next airplane coming in is a Transavia A321neo arriving from Meon. Petrikov asks if I'm only streaming on YouTube or do I multi-stream? I single stream. Only YouTube. Tina says in Dutch, if you can type, you can also like. True words, true words. Wagner says, if you haven't liked already, click like. It strengthens the channel. It doesn't cost anything. Absolutely right. If you do enjoy the streams and you want to see the channel grow, liking and subscribing is an easy way to help the channel reach a wider audience of like-minded people. People like you guys who once stumbled on a thumbnail of AMS Live and thought, let's click on it and see what it is. Then it turned out, hey, that's not too bad. Let's stick around or come back a bit more often. Bird control is over there. It looks like it is also slowly but surely coming this way. KLM flight 696 is an A330-200 arriving from Toronto, and that should be next after the Transavia A321neo that we're now looking at. Lisa says, Mahon reminds me of mayo, and that is delicious with some fries. Did you know that? I didn't. Tell me more. That is so interesting. Fries, what are those? Once again, the sun is shining. And thank you for your kind words, Nate Hotshot, who says, boy, you make it more than just an airport stream. It's fun to hang out with you here. I am so thrilled to hear you say that. I am really happy to hear that you are enjoying the streams. I try to create an atmosphere here of having fun and also seeing what you would be able to see if you were here with me. Which means I'll also show you contrails if there are any to see, animal life, tractors, agricultural things, and of course a little bit of banter. You have to be able to stomach some odd jokes if you want to hang around here, but most of you are and can. Don't forget the fish. You're right, the fish doing splishy splashy. Embraer 175, KLM flight 1840. And if all is well, the Canadian, the KLM A330 arriving from Canada, yeah, there it is. Coming through the clouds. Looking at the sky, dare I say, it might even get a bit better, our glide slope visibility. We might even get glide slope shots. Somebody please call Jerry. He doesn't want to miss this. This is KLM flight 696 arriving from Toronto in Canada. It is an A330-200. The registration is PHAOA. AOA. 6 hours and 48 minutes on the way. 19-year-old airplane. First flight August 2005. Aphrodite also back in the chat. Good to see you. It's me, Mike. Good morning. Leopoldine. Good morning. Guten Morgen. Servus. Herzlich willkommen. Those were once again the sounds of the infamous AMS Live elephant, which has been heard so many times before but never has been sighted. I'm looking around to see if I can see it, but still not able to do so. The PHAOA is 19 years old. The first flight was in August 2005. Jimmy also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Parallel arrivals still in progress. It's now 11:08. Usually the secondary runway opens up for arrivals between 11 and 11:40. Today they began a bit earlier, and now also to the south. Bit of blue in the sky. This is where the wind is coming from and where you need to look to see what we are expecting. They began with parallel arrivals a bit earlier than normal, and I hope they're also going to close the runway a bit sooner than normal. They started at 11:15, 15 minutes earlier. Next up should be Cargolux arriving from Miami, Florida. Before that, let me quickly scroll up. And massively thank Bogdan for your super chat. Hello from Brasov, Romania. Great job, boy. Bogdan says. Bogdan, thank you so much for your kind words and for your super chat. Always nice to have you in the chat. Thank you so much for your kind words and for your support. This is the first and only queen probably of today's show. It is Cargolux arriving from Miami, Florida. The LXJCV. The gear is already down. 7 hours and 34 minutes on the way to get here. The airplane is 18 years old. The first flight was in November 2006. Bird control is also coming this way. Looks like we are in for a combo shot. What I am wondering is how loud will the landing be and how much spray is there still on the runway. Jeff also back in the chat. Good to see ya. And in the meantime, a massive big thank you to Marco R, who just now gifted a membership, and the recipient of that membership is Jules C. Jules, welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Don't forget to say thank you to Marco. Don't forget to use those custom emojis. Let's look and listen. Cargolux, arriving from Miami. That was an interesting effect, at least here on my camera screen, of the spray in combination with the flap surfaces. Almost looked like a waterfall at moments. I think that was the reflection of the sun and the moving of the flap surfaces. That was a lovely landing, wasn't it? A warm welcome to all who have joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We have crosswindy conditions here at Polderbaan runway 18 right. Right now, still one of two runways open for arrivals. I think the secondary runway is going to close pretty soon. Viek also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. 1,377 viewers in the chat. That is beautiful. 625 likes. If we reach 1,000 in the live stream, then both Jörg and Wolfgang will release 20 gifted memberships each. That's JD and Austrian Wolf. When reaching 1,000 likes, let's see if we can make it. We're still a bit off, but we should be able to make it. Hey, Declan and Paul tuning in from Australia. Welcome back, guys. Hope you've been well, and let's see what else is happening. KLM flight 1406 is arriving from Paris. That is flying to the northeast. So that is probably going to land on the central runway still. Hey there, Dr. O, guten Morgen. Tony Mo, good morning. Rick Meester asks, is there a way we can alter the number of likes manually? There is. It is possible by pressing the like button if you haven't already, but you mustn't press on it twice. You can only press on it an uneven number of times, so 1 times or 3 times or 5. Be sure that you don't lose track of count. Yeah, doing zoomed in shots of the cockpit is a bit more difficult when the wind is blowing so fiercely. Now, in the meantime, a big thank you to Klaus for your super chat. This super chat is worth 500 likes, he writes. I absolutely agree. Wish that YouTube would also think the same about it. Thank you so much for your kind words and for your super chat there, Klaus. Hope your back is going a bit better already. And also, Doug, thank you so much for your super sticker. A Shiba dog saying, hey you, greeting joyfully. Hey you too, Doug. Thank you so much for your super sticker. Greetings back to you, mate. Now, there is a BizJet flying overhead, but it's flying above the clouds, unfortunately. I'm looking up, but the clouds are restricting me from being able to see it. Now, this is KLM flight 1710, arriving from Luxembourg. The BizJet, I can hear it. I'm looking up. It's flying right over me. It's right overhead, but I'm not able to see it. Maybe briefly between the clouds. Don't think we are able to see it. We're going to be able to see it, no. The BizJet is not landing on one of the two runways open for the major traffic. It is flying towards the east and is going to land on the Schiphol Oost runway. Probably on runway 22. Jeff says, I've landed on the Polderbaan in winds like this, it's fun. I can imagine that it is, unless you are afraid of flying. In which case, I imagine it might be a traumatic experience. This is KLM flight 1070 and number 190 arriving from Southampton. 45 minutes ago it left from Southampton. The airplane is 15 years old. Its first flight was in February 2010. Let's see, it looks like there will be a gap after this airplane has landed. Maybe they will do the runway inspection of Polderbaan, which usually precedes the closure of the secondary runway. That will give us enough time to have a look on flight radar and also renew the METAR, the weather report that you see in the ticker. Maybe not everybody knows what the letters and digits mean, and I'll also have some time to take you guys through it. Here we have the wind on the scale of chimney smoke. And not only do we have a reticent guy, a reticent wife, but we also have Aviations by Jensen and Mrs. Aviation by Jensen, who just became our latest Aurora Sky Lounge member. Mrs. Aviations by Jensen, welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. I'm sure your husband will be able to show you around. If you need to know where stuff is, you can ask him and he'll happily show you around. A warm welcome to the lounge and thank you for your vote of confidence. Now, looking on flight radar, first of all, the Cargolux 747 has already landed, and the next airplane of interest is going to be the KLM Orange Pride, the PHBVA 777-300ER, today arriving from Panama City, flying over the Gulf of Yorkshire and expected in 20 minutes from now. Jesus is flying back to London Gatwick from Dubrovnik. In the meantime, Emirates is still expected 3 minutes past 1 o'clock. That still makes it a candidate for the wrong runway. And I'm also seeing that Suparna Airlines is now underway, but that has an ETA of 2:43, so that is probably going to be a bit late. Let's have a look at the METAR. A refresh will tell us what the wind is doing now. Code yellow, 20 knots of wind. The wind is from the southwest, west-southwest more or less. Variable a little bit. Let me take you through the METAR itself. It says here METAR EHAM. EHAM is the abbreviation of Schiphol Airport together with AMS. Then the date, the 25th and 8:55 Zulu time, that's 10:55 Central European time, means that this report is almost half an hour old. In 5 minutes there will be a new report. But let's go through this one. The wind, 20 knots from the direction 240 degrees. That's depicted over here and here. The wind direction is variable between 200 and 270 degrees. That's over here. 200 and 270 is west. So this is the variability of the direction of the wind. 9999 means 10 kilometers of visibility, but that's below the ceiling. We have a ceiling at 1300 feet. Broken clouds at 1300 feet, few clouds at 1100 feet, and we have broken clouds at 1600 feet as well. Means that there's a layer of clouds right between 1000 and 2000 feet. The current air temperature is 15 degrees Celsius, the dew point is 13 degrees Celsius, the air pressure is 1006 hectopascals, which you can also see over there, and the weather is becoming broken clouds at 2200 feet. It's now 1300 feet and 1600 feet. In other words, it's opening up. The broken clouds are going to be higher up in the sky, and that means that glide slope visibility is going to improve. I'm also pasting the METAR in the ticker for you guys so that you can read it back at your own pace. And these reports are updated twice an hour, so it's actually an old report. In 5 minutes there will be another one. We're at 694 likes. That means that we're almost at 70% of 1k likes, at which point Jörg and Wolfgang will both release 20 gifted memberships if we make it to 1000 likes during the live stream. Let's see if we can make it so far. Right now, no traffic coming to the Polderbaan, although there is traffic turning in an Embraer 190 arriving from Stavanger. And looking around me, I don't see that there is an inspection of the runway in progress yet, so I wonder how much longer the center runway is going to stay open for. Screw you, dunce! You can watch the rewind of the METAR, the METAR lesson. This is Air Baltic, flying on behalf of Austrian. It's arriving from Vienna. It's a Bombardier C-Series 300. Austrian Airlines flight 379. Hey there, Gouwe. Goedemorgen. So yeah. 20 knots of crosswind over here, and center is open. That's where this Air Baltic is now flying to, and the Polderbaan is also open. Polderbaan is the primary runway for inbound traffic today. There it is. It has landed. Now, folks, well, there is another airplane now on the glide slope. Glide slope visibility should improve. KLM flight 1174 arriving from Stavanger should be out there somewhere. Don't think we are able to see it yet. The clouds are still a bit in the way. In terms of water birds, aquatic birds, now Chris Coot is sitting on the slab of concrete. It was one of the ducks earlier. They like to sit high and dry. Wind on the scale of chimney smoke, showing a lot of horizontality. And the crows are over there in the grass, chilling and relaxing. There don't seem to be any other birds in the water here in the immediate vicinity. The bird control is over there. And it doesn't look like it is doing a runway inspection yet, so that's what happens if a gust of wind picks up the camera and starts pointing it up or starts shuttering it. You need to lock your tilt axis now to keep footage a little bit stable. Jeff asks if there are herons about. I have seen them, but not in the immediate vicinity. I'm not sure where they are at right now. meantime, the sun is beginning to shine. And I want to thank J. Remy Law for your super chat. He says, wishing my friends and allies and waterbirds around the world a meaningful Memorial Day from the United States of America. Thank you so much for your kind words and for your donation there, Jay. Happy Memorial Day to you too. This is KLM flight 1174 arriving from Stavanger. It is one of 2 airplanes in KLM's fleet in the SkyTeam livery. There's also a 737-900 in the same livery. We used to have the PHBVD, a 777-300 also in the SkyTeam livery. Until recently, a couple of months ago, they repainted it back to the standard livery. And it looks like it has had a nose job. It has had a nose job. So the wind isn't slowing down yet. It has gradually picked up and now has been 20 knots according to the METAR. Bird controller K2 over here. Or, yeah, that is K2. I also see him on flight radar. Hadi Lisa. And Lisa asks if I can greet Diana. Groetjes van Lisa. Rick wonders if the Embraer had its nose job done in Turkey. There is a bit of a color difference, isn't there? Could be. Und Grüße zurück, Hans und Annelies. Zikasaur is also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Quite an angle. That's because we have 20 knots of crosswind. Well, not exactly 20 knots, but luckily the sun is shining. A shady figure waves hi to you. This is where the wind is coming from. West-southwest. In other words, it's nice and crosswindy. Also, looks like we are going to keep things dry here for some time to come. Fingers crossed that it's going to stay that way. Also, fingers crossed that the Emirates A380 is making up a few more minutes of time and is landing before 1 o'clock, because then it'll land on the runway we are standing next to. If all is well, the Orange Pride shall be landing here pretty soon. And since the sun has begun to shine, I'm also trying to reach for my camera LCD solar cap. Ought to block some of the reflections. Makes it a bit easier to look at my camera screen. The next airplane coming in is Transavia flight 5676, arriving from Ibiza, the party island. Yeah, there it is. I was about to say, if all is well, it should emerge from the clouds at some moment soon. There it is already. Coming this way. Hey there, Jack. Good afternoon. And welcome to the show. Or no, I say good afternoon, but it is still morning here. It is 11:28. Yeah, I'm hoping that the center runway is going to close anytime soon, because they did open it up a bit earlier, 15 minutes early already. Usually from 11 until 11:40 parallel arrivals. Right now we have been having parallel arrivals for 45 minutes already. So if you ask me, it's about time that they close the center runway, that everything coming into Schiphol pass via this runway, as it should. There was a very spectacular landing by a KLM 777 arriving from Cape Town, South Africa. If you missed it, I will make a separate video out of that one. That was a very tippy-toey landing, which I'm sure you'll see around on other channels as well. Rick Meester says, wow, already 945 likes here on my screen. I'm counting 748 right now. If we reach 1,000 likes during the stream while live, both Jörg aka JD and Wolfgang aka Austrian Wolf, they'll each hand out 20 gifted memberships. So that's 40 gifted memberships to be had if you don't have one already. If we'll reach 1,000 likes during the live stream, so won't be long before you guys will have to cough up or This is KLM flight Transavia flight 5676 arriving from Ibiza. Howdy Sander, goedemorgen. Stefan, goedemorgen. John Dutch Canadian is also in. John Dutch Canadian says, I'm in on that also. First of all, thank you. Second of all, good morning. Didn't see you there. Hope all is well, John Dutch Canadian. So, if I understood John Dutch Canadian's words properly, just double checking, but I think I understood it properly. A third person is now pledging 20 gifted memberships when we'll reach 1,000 likes during the live stream. In the meantime, Son Sakei, my ground crew, yesterday is celebrating 1.5 years of membership. He is deep green now and will celebrate with a little airplane dance. Why not? I feel in the mood. Let's do it. Yay! Through the high grass. This one's for you, Sander, because you also gave one for free a while back. Mate, thank you so much for all the support and all the banter in the chat and in real life. Always a pleasure when you're here, both in real life and in the chat. John confirming I did read that correctly, so let me re-emphasize. If we reach 1,000 likes during the live stream while live, 60 memberships will be gifted. 20 by Jörg aka JD, 20 by Wolfgang aka Austrian Wolf, and 20 by John Dutch Canadian. And Sander is appreciative of the airplane dance I just now did. Mate, you didn't have to super chat for that. He says meesterlijk, which is Dutch for masterful, masterly. Aphrodite is also joining with 5 gifted memberships when we reach 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. So that's 65 gifted memberships if we reach 1,000 likes while live. In the meantime, the likes are going up, the airplanes are coming down, and we are pretty soon going to see the Orange Pride. It is now number 2 on arrival. KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City. This is KLM flight 1498 arriving from Barcelona. It's number 175. And can definitely tell that the wind is picking up somewhat. One hour and 52 minutes on the way from Barcelona. It is number 175. They do apply the reversers a little bit, but let's head back and watch the airplane of interest. The Orange Pride, the PHBVA. Let me also quickly go over to the computer and massively thank Edelweiss for the generous super chat there with no accompanying words. Otherwise, thank you so much for your generosity. You didn't have to do that, but you did it anyway. Massively big thank you. And I see that Wolfgang is speaking German to you, so vielen Dank für deine Unterstützung. Herzlichen Dank. Assuming you are a German native speaker, which I think with a name like Edelweiss you probably are. This is the PHBVA KLM Orange Pride arriving from Panama City. 777-300 the PHBVA Bravo Victor Alpha, 9 hours and 21 minutes on the way. How will it land? 17-year-old airplane, first flight January 2008. Crabbing until the very last end. Yeah, solid. Reversers, question mark? Or just a wheelie? I say just a wheelie, but this is a very sizable wheelie. Yes, nice. Holy shizzle. That was an excellent wheelie there by the pilot flying. That was a fantastically smooth and beautifully executed landing there. Hey Immanuel, goedemorgen. Stroopwafels and AMS lifetime with a nice cup of coffee. That is a perfect combination. Hey, Olaf also in the chat. Lance playing some more. Rodney, welcome guys. For those of you who I missed, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. Crosswind arrivals here at Polderbaan, which I think has become the only runway for arrivals once more. Now until approximately 1 PM, all traffic inbound will land on this runway or go around. This was the PHBVA Orange Pride. We already saw a queen from Cargo Lux earlier. Question is, what is going to happen with the Emirates A380? Let's have a quick look on flight radar. Its ETA initially was 112, then it became 103. In the meantime, also a big thank you to Zakynthos for your super chat with no accompanying words. Thank you so much for your generosity, mate. Much appreciated. Now, looking on flight radar, the Orange Pride has landed and the Emirates is still expected at 103. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see if it is going to land here. An update of the METAR tells us that now the wind has reduced again from 20 knots to 18 knots, still firmly from the southwest, crosswindy arrivals, a ceiling at 1,100 feet, no, 300 feet, beg your pardon. This is the cloudiness right now, it is 16 degrees C. Let me quickly paste the METAR in the ticker and then it is back to the camera controls. We're at 850 likes, so almost there, 150 to go. That's 65 gifted memberships pledged by several people already. Jörg, Wolfgang, John and also Aphrodite. In the meantime, it's back to the narrow bodies. KLM Embraer 190 is next to arrive here, arriving from Newcastle, where it left from 55 minutes ago. This airplane is 13 years old, first flight was somewhere in 2012. Embraer 175, KLM arriving from Bristol after that. And after that it is time for another Delta A330. Flight 136, arriving from Detroit, Michigan. Cannot recall that we have seen an A350 in the show already. That is a bit of a pity. Yesterday there were several. I see that Mr. Biker is also back in the chat. What up, Paul? Hope you've been well. If you joined us later, you missed the spectacular landing of a KLM 777-300 arrived from Cape Town, South Africa. Very tippy-toey. Almost looked like it was going to go around. I will make a separate video out of that one. Also, a big thank you to Zigosaur for once again a super chat. He says, press like on this live for Orange Pride wheelie. It was a beautiful wheelie, wasn't it? Absolutely it was. We also saw a Queenland Cargo Lux and the Orange Pride landing just now. Wind is picking up. I'm resorting to fixating the tilt axis as much as possible. The wind, otherwise, even with the application of image stabilizer, will go up and down significantly. This airplane landed smoothly. Next up will be Delta Airlines, and look at this machine crabbing. It looks like it is going to pass to the left of me, going right past by me. It is actually drifting in to its left. Must be interesting having a window on the left hand side in this airplane right now, looking at the runway from the window. Huh, is that normal? In the meantime, the likes are slowly but surely creeping upwards towards 1,000, and if we reach 1,000 while live, 65 memberships will be gifted. 20 by Jörg, aka JD, 20 by Wolfgang, aka Austria Wolf, 20 by John, aka John Dutch Canadian, and 5 by Aphrodite, our moderator. And is it going to land? It is. It's doing a wheelie to boot to rub it in. Yay! That was spectacular. That was spectacular to see. That was spectacular to see. Howdy Steven, goedemorgen, good morning. Steven Oskam also back in the chat. And welcome to the show, all others who have joined us in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy. We're standing at windy Schiphol Airport, where another airplane is crabbing in. It's KLM Flight 1088 arriving from Cardiff. And after that, another 777-300 from KLM, Flight 682, arriving from Vancouver, Canada. And we're crossing 900 likes. That's 100 shy of bonus time for 65 of you. That's 65 gifted memberships within 100 likes. It seems like it's just going to be a matter of time before we'll reach it. If you are one of the lucky ones who receives a gifted membership in a few moments, don't forget to say thank you to whoever gifted you the membership. If you receive a gifted membership, you will have access to 32 custom emojis for a month. Spamming is not allowed, but you are allowed to use custom emojis as much as you want. And I encourage you to do so. Feel free to experiment with them, use them inappropriately. They're there to have fun with. KLM Flight 1088. Nicely touching down there. On flight radar it looks like the 777 behind it is not too far away, and I can see it visually as well. It needs to hurry, vacate quickly, otherwise this 777 will have to go around. Maria says, also boy, we'll read out all the names of the 65 new members. Oh, screw you, Maria. What's she like, eh? You wish. That would make for a very boring stream. Unless you guys all want me to. But yeah, I can only do one thing at a time. It's either filming the crabby arrivals or reading out names. Reading out so many names sounds like, well, we're at a memorial or of sorts. This is KLM flight 682, arriving from Vancouver, Canada. 777-300 left from Vancouver 8 hours and 44 minutes ago. It's the PHB VC, Bravo Victor Charlie. 16-year-old airplane, first flight May 2009. Straightening the airplane. Go for the touchdown. There we go. Will they apply the reversers? Guess not. And look at those flap surfaces. They are immaculate, as they often are when it concerns KLM wide bodies. Not all, particularly KLM Asia. Those sometimes are a bit more dirty and grimy. In the meantime, a massive big thank you to Caffeinator. I like that name. Crosswind bonus. Thank you so much for that, my friend. Much appreciated. I do love the name Caffeinator. I think we can all use a caffeinator at times. I'm happy that our caffeinator is here in the live chat today, keeping us caffeinated. Another airplane coming in. This is SAS. It is arriving from Oslo and it is an Embraer 195. Not an E2, but a quote-unquote regular Embraer 195. Long range. Departed 1 hour and 34 minutes ago. The airplane is 17 years old, first flight somewhere in 2008, the month is not specified on flight radar. Another airplane dance at 1,000 likes. Maybe at 1250 or 1500. While we are on a roll for the likes, it ought to be attainable, shouldn't it? In the meantime, K4 is slowly passing by here on the right of me. Oh, is that an ambulance? I think it is. Emergency vehicle, yeah, that does sound like an ambulance. Not sure if the mic is picking it up. I, for one, am hearing this ambulance with the sirens on. Doesn't seem to be affected by the crosswindy conditions, unlike the airplanes. This is the wind on the scale of chimney smoke. And going to the fire station area will show you an erect windsock. Viagra is in the air. This also happens to be a custom emoji for those of you who didn't know. In the meantime, also a massive big thank you to Raven Rock, who already went ahead. Even though we're also close to 1,000 likes, Raven Rock already went ahead, gifted 5 memberships just now. Raven Rock, thank you so much for your generosity. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge new members. Don't forget to say thank you to Raven Rock if you were one of the recipients of Raven Rock's gifted memberships. Welcome to the Sky Lounge new members. Raven Rock, thank you so much for your generosity. And let's have a look at Transavia flight 6116. This is arriving from Malaga, 2 hours and 31 minutes on the way. It's a 737-800, 10 years old. Oh! Oh! John Dutch Canadian already went ahead with the gifted memberships. Looks like we have to cross the 1,000 likes still. 991 is what I am counting here. Almost there, almost there. This is Transavia flight 6116, the PHHSK. Did we make it? We made it. Now all of a sudden 1,024 likes. Mate, thank you all so much. We crossed 1,000 likes. A thank you to each and every one of you who liked the stream. Thank you all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Glad to hear you guys are enjoying the stream. I'm doing the best I can to give you the best content that I can give you with my equipment, and I'm happy that you guys are enjoying. Now the gifted memberships. Let's see. I have to go back and forth because probably won't be able to do this in one go. Let's see. I need to scroll up through a chat that is continuously updating, and whenever that happens, everything I am looking is also moving. First of all, it was John Dutch Canadian who already went ahead a little bit before we reached 1,000 likes, gifting 20 memberships. John, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. And then it was Michael Walker, if I saw it correctly, who went ahead and also gifted 5 memberships. Michael, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. That is so generous of you. Thank you so much. 5 gifted memberships from Michael as well. And then it was Duns. Let's see if I can find that message as well. Scroll, 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 scroll. Then, no way, it was not Duns, it was Dustin. Apologies, I looked incorrectly. It was Dustin first who sent 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Dustin. And then it was Duns who also went and gifted no less than 20 gifted memberships. Holy cow. There you go. Duns, mate, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for your generosity. Now I see that the chat is going down again. Let's see, where was I? Scroll up. Yeah, we were at Duns. Then it was Dirk on Tour who gifted 5 memberships. Let's see, where is that message? Scroll, 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 scroll. Scroll, 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 scroll. Dirk on Tour, mate, thank you so much. Dirk on Tour gifting 5 memberships as well. Then it was Jörg, aka JD, who went ahead and gifted 20 memberships. Mate, thank you so much. I'll continue with thanking and highlighting messages after this, because I see that we are seeing the Corendon A350 next, and I don't want you guys to miss that landing. Here it is, Corendon flight 598 arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. It's an A350-900. Now 8 hours and 44 minutes underway. The ECNZF. The airplane is 2 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in May 2023. Here it is. In the meantime, a couple of narrow bodies have landed. This is Corendon flight 598 arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. I'm not seeing the live chat right now because I am scrolling upwards to see all the highlighted messages on my phone. I see it better on my phone. On my software eCam Live it doesn't show, only super chats stand out. So I need to look properly to see whether or not a relevant message is there. My phone does highlight gifts and whatnot, so I'm using that to follow the order of memberships being gifted as super chats and whatnot. Corendon flight 598 arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. 8 hours and 45 minutes on the way. The airplane is 2 years old. First flight May 2023. Look at it crabbing. They keep crabbing until the very last moment. Now it's straightening a little bit, but still crabbing. Main gear touchdown, and now they'll apply the rudder, straighten out the airplane before the nose wheel touches down, so that the airplane rolls out in line with the runway heading. Beautiful to see. World flag Corendon, it has landed. Hans' favorite, next, Vueling arriving from Palma de Mallorca. Let's see if I can continue where I left off. It was Edelweiss who then super stickered. Fan character with eyes wide open, blushing. Edelweiss, thank you so much. Vielen Dank für deine Unterstützung und deine super sticker. That is so sweet. Thank you so much. And then it was Aphrodite. I thought you said you were going to give 5 memberships, but it was 10. Aphrodite, thank you so much for your generosity. Welcome to the Skylines, all members. Like I said before, don't forget to thank the gifter if you received a gifted membership. Marco Pluggenborg also went ahead and gifted another 10 memberships. Where is that message? Scroll, 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 scroll. Scroll, 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 scroll. Marco Pluggenborg also gifting 10 memberships. Marco, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your generosity. Thank you all so much for your generosity. Let me see. Almost there, aren't I? Let's see. Scroll, scroll, scroll. After Marco, it was Hannes69 who also went ahead and gifted memberships. Hannes, let's see, where is that message? There it is, Hannes69 also gifting 10 memberships. Hannes, thank you so much for your generosity. Hannes, thank you so much. I think we're reaching the end now, more or less. Michael Walker is celebrating. Michael Walker celebrating 17 months of membership. He writes, sorry boy, don't get the view often, enjoy what I can. No need to apologize, Michael. Whenever you can make it, that's perfectly fine. And there's always the replay. Of course, that means you cannot interact while live, but that is still an option. Thank you so much for your generosity and for your kind words and all the support. Do let me know if something is no longer to your liking in the lounge, and I'll see what I can do to fix it. Now, where is the message? Here we go. Asja Wolf, aka Wolfgang, he also went ahead and gifted 20 memberships. Mate, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Almost there, I think. I need something that automates these highlighted messages. This is really costing a lot of time like this. Apologies for the inconvenience, but I mustn't forget anyone. John Dutch Canadian also went ahead, gifting 5 memberships just now. Mate, that is more than enough. Thank you so much, John Dutch Canadian. 5 gifted memberships just now. Now, let's also quickly stop and have another look at the arrival. This is KLM flight 751. 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil. And we all know where that is. Let's see if it still works. It still works. Guayaquil in Ecuador. 777-200 it's the PHBQD Bravo Quebec Delta. The airplane is 21 years old. First flight December 2003. I'm still not caught up with the live chat, so anybody who is saying anything to me, I'm missing it. I'm still up in the chat because I haven't finished with catching up all the messages that need to be highlighted. KLM flight 751 arriving from Guayaquil in Ecuador, 21 years old, first flight December 2003. I'm surprised that we haven't seen any, well, just one go around, but we weren't able to see it because it already happened when the airplane was still flying above the cloud base. Air France went around earlier, but that's the only go around that we have seen thus far. This is KLM flight 751, now about to land here after 10 hours and 39 minutes of flight. Landing uneventfully. Which is a feat considering there is still pretty much wind blowing, and it's blowing at a cross angle of the runway heading. Embraer 190 should be next after this. Let's see. Somebody gifted a gifted membership to Nijmeegse Nieuwsnet, aka Siegfried, who now is a member again. And that's now the 8th month. And he is now a gifted member for the 8th month already. Thank you whoever gifted the membership to Siegfried. I think I am now all caught up again. I hope I am. Scrolling back to the bottom of the screen. Yeah. Now I think it is now it is Raven Rock who is gifting a membership, who is not gifting a membership but super chatting. Raven Rock, thank you so much for your generosity. Grab a coffee and stroopwafel boy, no diets allowed. I'm so sorry, I am still on a diet. Hey, Bart, Wolfgang said hi when you passed by initially, but you were already too far away when I read the message. You were already too far away when I read the message. Wolfgang was saying hi to you.
Oh, hi back.
Hi back. What a day.
Oh, it sure was.
It is beautiful. Yeah. Hopefully it's going to stay dry a bit longer. Not sure that it will. They were expecting some droplets in the beginning of the afternoon, weren't they?
Do that though.
I'm not sure if that has changed in the meantime.
Well, the predictions are the same as the weather in general.
Yeah.
Unpredictable.
The weather is unpredictable. That's definitely, very, uncertainty is the only constant and the only assurance.
One thing I always say, one thing in the Netherlands is certain, nothing is certain.
Nothing is ever certain, absolutely.
Gotta talk to you later.
Hey, take care, have a good one, enjoy the day. Dank je, hoi. This time I didn't miss it, Wolfgang. This is KLM flight 1774 arriving from Berlin. Narrow bodies coming in. Next airplane coming in should be KLM flight 1020 arriving from Leeds. Again, a massive big thank you to everybody for the likes and for all the gifted memberships and whatnot. I hope that everybody who received a gifted membership from one of the many gifters just now will say or has already said thank you. Don't forget to use those custom emojis that you now have at your disposal. Have fun with them. feel free to use those custom emojis whatever way you see fit. They're there for a reason. They're there to have fun with. Our next airplane coming in is KLM flight 1020. It is arriving from Leeds. It's number 190. I think it's also time to have a look at the METAR again. I think somebody already updated the METAR in the live chat. Let me take you through it in a moment. So I have dynamic image stabilizer enabled. My tripod is, as always, secured with guy wires into the ground. 3 wires around each of the 3 tripod legs to keep the platform as stable as can be. When possible, I lock the tilt axis of my camera tripod so that it doesn't move up and down, but still it is a struggle to get stable footage under weather circumstances like this. It is fun though. You can say what you want, but this is fun. The next airplane is Transavia arriving from Valencia. It does allow us a few moments to have a look and see what the weather is doing. The wind in particular, the last METAR said 18 knots of wind. The wind once again has picked up. It's now 21 knots, firmly blowing from the west-southwest. We still have a ceiling now at 4,200 feet. 10 plus kilometers of visibility below the ceiling, and we have 3 layers of clouds, and the air temperature 17 degrees C, so it's not very cold, luckily. Let me update the ticker with the METAR I just now copied. So once again, code yellow for the wind on metartaf.com, I think it is. Indeed, Imre, a nice refreshing breeze. Yeah, Factist Letsten Ende says that the picture is a little bit shaky. Yeah, it is. Despite all my precautionary measures, unfortunately, getting a barrier between the wind and me would be the only solution to get it really fixed. Luckily, with the wind blowing from the southwest, I am standing in front of the camera, between the wind and the camera for a bit, partially, so could be worse. And indeed, said 9 cubing, if you look up you can see the clouds moving. You can also see the clouds are forming in linear formations parallel to one another and in line with the wind direction. You can also see it from this angle. Here is a street of clouds, and here too is a street of clouds. Wolkenstraten, literally translated cloud streets. This is where the wind is coming from. Full size condom, Wolfgang says. I'm not fully convinced yet that will work sufficiently. But yeah, still looking bluish in the part of the sky where the clouds are drifting in from. Wind on the scale of chimney smoke currently looks like this. And the next airplane coming in, already over there, crabbing its way over. This is KLM flight 1136 arriving from Dublin, Ireland, an E2 Embraer 195. 59 minutes underway. 3-year-old airplane, first flight February 2022. I'm hearing traffic overhead. I think that's the Finnair A350. I did catch a white airplane for a brief moment, I think. There it is, yeah, that's the Finnair A350 alright. Or at least contours of it. But at least we're able to see glimpses of traffic leaving overhead, which already is an improvement compared with what we had to deal with earlier in the morning. For those of you joining us just now, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing at Polderbaan, runway 18 right, with crosswindy conditions. 21 knots of wind blowing from the west-southwest. Already a Cargolux 747 landed here, and the Orange Pride did too. Shortly after 1 o'clock, the Emirates A380 is expected. Last time we checked, its ETA was 1:03. I'm not sure if it has made up more time. Its ETA earlier in the show was 1:12, so it has made up some time. Let's have a look on Flight Radar. The Emirates A380, yeah, no, it still has an ETA of 1:05, so unfortunately, the way it stands right now, it looks like the airplane is going to go to the wrong runway, the central runway. Still, from over here, we ought to be able to see it quite well. The next airplane coming in is EasyJet flight 27806, arriving from Milan. That's an A319, 1 hour and 24 minutes on the way. The airplane is 15 years old. First flight was in October 2009. The OE LQU. We've seen a very spectacular landing of a KLM 777-300ER arriving from Cape Town, South Africa this morning. If you missed it, I will make a separate video out of it later today. Stay tuned for that. That was a very tippy-toey landing, which I'm pretty sure you'll see in other compilation videos sometime soon. That definitely was one for the books. Hey there, Thomas. Thomas also back in the chat, tuning in from Israel. Doing well, mate. Hope you are too. Michael says, boy, you need to create a problem for ATC so that they close the center runway 380, then must land on Polderbaan. Alright, I'm all ears. What do you suggest? What should we do that causes them to close the center runway? Donald is also wondering, what shall we do, Michael? He's not alone. Where did I see the other bird? There. That's Chris Coote. It's Donald Duck and Chris Coote all by themselves here today by the looks of it. Daisy not to be found here. Although there are also some birds over there. Donald and Daisy. More Donalds and Daisies. They are vibing in the water, aren't they? Well, hey! Oh no, wait, that's just Donald climbing on shore. I thought for a moment it was Daisy, but it's not. Tippy-toey landing there of KLM flight 1788 arriving from Hanover. Britzy Hopper arriving from Germany. Next up will be KLM flight 1164 arriving from Bergen. Now, how is glide slope visibility? There is a 737 arriving from Billund. Somewhere behind it. I've yet to see two airplanes on the glide slope today. When is the next wide body coming? Ah, I see it already. That's KLM flight 622 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, a 777. Still over the Gulf of Yorkshire, but should be arriving here pretty soon. No separate compartment for mothers-in-laws in this one. Yeah. I tried to zoom in into the cockpit to give you guys a more close-up look, but the wind is so fierce. It's really hard to follow the airplane stably when zoomed in so far to see it properly. There it is, KLM flight 1294 arriving from Billund. Dropping off bills in Billund. Class is signing off. Thank you so much for joining, class. Enjoy the rest of your day, mate. Hope to see you again, hopefully tomorrow. I will do a stream tomorrow for those of you who missed it. Since I wasn't able to do a stream last Thursday, weather permitting, I'll do an additional stream tomorrow so that we will have 4 streams as normal. Wolfgang says, folks, I think Boy needs to dance again at 1250 likes. Let's make it happen. I did say that I was going to do another airplane dance at 1250 or 1500 likes. Why not see if we can reach 1500, and I'll do an airplane dance at both 1250 and 1500. Let me see if I can relocate the camera then where the grass isn't so high. My first airplane dance was right here in the tall grass. It is a bit better accessible to the side of me. Is that Steven Seagull? I think it was. Oh, I'm hearing a heavy hitter. Or at least it sounds like a heavy hitter. That is a Chinese triple. Against the blue sky backdrop. What? The sunny weather is expected to return to the Netherlands, although the remainder of the upcoming week is still a bit drizzly, showery, if you will. Ah, Memorial Day tomorrow. Nice. Amsterdam Plane Spotting asks if it is going to be windy on Tuesday as well. The honest answer is that I don't know, but there is an easy way to see for yourself, and I'll show you in a moment. There's a website called windfinder.com, and if you go to windfinder.com and you can go and search for Amsterdam Airport Schiphol, it'll show you the expected wind for the next couple of days. You'll see that tomorrow more wind is expected from the west. Not as much as today, but definitely a bit more windiness than is normal. Tuesday also relatively windy by the looks of it. Wind in the same angle as today, southwest. Wednesday you'll see that the wind is slowing down a little bit, and although the gusts are still expected to stay high, probably during showers later in the week. In the meantime, good afternoon to Guy. And welcome to all others who have joined in the meantime. It's still windy, 21 knots of wind E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Stuttgart should become visible any moment now. And after that, a 777-300ER, there it is. E2 Embraer is crabbing. And I'm slowly zooming out back to the top end of optical zoom so that we don't magnify pixels any longer. Hadi Emiel, goedemiddag. There she is. She's slowly but surely coming in. After this, we will see another 777-300 KLM flight 622 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. And another one is not too far behind it. In fact, I think there's an Aer Lingus right after the first 777, which is sandwiched in between the two triples. And the second 777 is coming in from Lima in Peru. Brandon asks, any sight of the Orange Pride today? It landed earlier in the stream, so you will have to watch in rewind, but we did see it land here on the Polderbaan. Yazir asks, are you going for spotting on Friday? It all depends on the weather, but Friday is normally a day that I go out to stream, so if the weather is good enough, and I think there's a high likelihood of it being good enough, I will go out on Friday. Eve asks which material I am using to film this. Have a look, click on the video description below the video itself, and a lot of the information is already written down there, such as the material I am using among others. The E2 Embraer has landed. Oh, check it out, cables, holy fuck. that looked impressive. Let's fixate the tilt axis. That was looking gnarly. Those were big cables emanating from the flap tips, I think it was. That looked impressive. KLM flight 622 arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. It is a 777-300ER. The PHBVD, this is the airplane that was in the SkyTeam livery until a few months ago. 7 hours and 18 minutes on the way. This airplane is 15 years old. Its first flight was in August 2009. And we have another Jörg in the chat, JD and Jörg M. Jörg M, hi there. Frank says, I wonder what advice AI will give if you ask how to prepare a hot dog. Why don't you ask it and tell us what ChatGPT said? I am curious as well. All right, nicely done. If you thought this airplane was looking nice, there will be another one in a couple of minutes. First, an A321neo from Aer Lingus, Shamrock, and after that, another 777-300ER. And here, another A321neo, which is also quite capable of producing those vortices, or cables as I like to call them. These are actually vortices emanating from the tips of the flaps Those vortices are always there, but with the right humidity, they start becoming apparent. Indeed, Maria, if you want to see me do another airplane dance, drop a like if you haven't already. At 1250 I'll do one, and at 1500 I'll do another one. Bram asks, do you prefer streaming in extreme cold or in extreme heat? I'm no extremist, so I'll have moderate temperatures by I prefer moderate temperatures any day of the week. It's easier to dress for the cold than for extreme warmth. I have to say I have been more uncomfortable here during extreme heat, particularly if there is no breeze to cool you down. That's the most, those days are those are the worst if there's high humidity and zero wind. Because you're standing here in an open field exposed to the sun. Extreme cold usually goes accompanied with wind, and that is also not nice when temperatures are low. But at least against cold you can dress and layer up. Extremely moderate temperatures, indeed, Patrick, that's what I want. Extremely moderate temperatures. Aer Lingus is now vacating the runway via the first exit, and that is just in time for KLM flight 744. It is arriving from Lima in Peru. It's a 777-300 11 hours 33 minutes on the way. Lima is in Peru, that's in Latin America. You know what other country lies in Latin America? You're right. This is the PHBVR Bravo Victor Romeo. 11 hours and 33 minutes on the way, like I said before. 8 years old, first flight May 2016. Another Delta Airlines is approaching and is going to follow up as second after this triple. Sandwiched in between the wide bodies is KLM flight 1044. In other words, that's the next airplane after this. That is a 737 arriving from Birmingham. In the meantime, Petros is also back, tuning in from Athens. Welcome back, mate. Hope all is well. WWJD Video's, goedemiddag. Indeed, Jesse, Ecuador. Jesse was already waiting for it. Ah, Matthijs, aangenaam. Right, 1183 likes is what I am counting. At 1250 you'll get to see another airplane dance. Unlike if you don't want to see it, get it away from 1250 or get it past it, but stay short, hold short of 1500 then. In the meantime, looking to the north here on the cycling path, we have pedestrians walking their dog. Fido over there having a blast. Windy day, lot to see, lot to smell. That friendly Japanese guy, or Japanese looking guy, is continuing further to the north, as he also was doing yesterday and the day before yesterday. Turning around the camera, looking to the south, you can see people are sitting on the bench. There are now also more people out and about on the cycling path. Here in the grass towards the roundabout and the bridge, more people. And in the background, past the gentleman and also the walking gentleman who's holding his hands on his back. You can see a fence. The pipe is right in front of it. That's the fence where the parking of the Spottersplatz itself is. You'll also find a French fries truck and on warm days an ice cream van as well over there. This is KLM flight 1044 arriving from Birmingham. And after this we are going to see another Delta A330. Ooh, that was a little tippy-toey. Right main gear touching down first. Otherwise uneventful, well done. Pretty soon we ought to see, yeah, there it is. Delta Airlines flight 144 emerge from the clouds. There it is. I fixated the tripod on both axes, trying to shield the camera from the wind by holding my big head in front of it a bit. Yeah, I'm also zoomed in digitally pretty far. This is the top end of optical zoom on my camera. In the meantime, Buddy, aka Dukeman, thank you so much for your very generous PayPal donation. I received notification from PayPal just now and he wonders, did you reach a new live stream like record? Buy yourself a vodka. Thank you so much, my friend. I don't think that we reached a record. We have had more views and likes in the chat before. Don't know what the record is at, but I'm pretty sure that we have had more likes while live and certainly more viewers. We did reach 1.8k a couple of months ago, back in the winter months during another stormy session, but this is definitely one of the days that is up there. 1.2k likes, almost. Time for an airplane dance, 47 to go. And in the meantime, this is Delta Airlines flight 144, which is arriving from Bill J's hometown of Seattle, Washington. It's an A330-300, 9 hours and 5 minutes on the way. This airplane is 18 years old already, November 8, 15 November whiskey. First flight January 2007. They're still crabbing until the very end. It is 12:32, so 7 minutes ago a new METAR was released. Let's have a quick look at it. Hey, reversers. Nice. Ah, you can't see the exact numbers. Also not when you extend the video description. Is it still in decimal places then? Oh no, that's just the exact number of views that you see then, right? I'm counting 1223 likes here right now where I am standing. Let's have a look at the METAR. The METAR of 1225 hasn't been released yet, so I'll check back in a couple of minutes. The weather report, the METAR, gets updated twice an hour, 25 minutes past the hour and 5 minutes to the hour. While I'm here, I'm also having a quick glance at my DJI mic receiver and transmitter. These seem to be holding up quite nicely. If my voiceover falls away suddenly, let me know. Also, if crackling re-emerges, let me know. Ah, okay, so only decimal places. Well, in that case, I'll have to keep you in the loop. We're at 1235 now, 1236 now. That's the number of likes, and if we cross 1250, I will do an airplane dance for you. I'll do another one at 1500 likes. Now at Schiphol there's always a lot to see. This is lot flight 263 arriving from Warsaw. 1 hour and 40 minutes on the way. The Splur SPLIR Lima India Romeo. 13 years old, first flight somewhere in 2012. To me it doesn't feel like the wind is slowing down. I wonder if the METAR tells us the same. Next up, Iceland Air Flight 500. Unfortunately, no 757 or 767s today, but a MAX 9 737. There it is. Is there more traffic in the background visible already? It's still hard to see more than one airplane today. That's a pity. TAP Air Portugal should be behind it, an A321neo. We're at 12:48, guys. That's 2 more likes needed for another airplane dance. And then the next airplane dance will get unlocked at 1500 likes. Iceland Air Flight 500 arriving from Reykjavik in Iceland. MAX 9 737. 2 hours and 44 minutes on the way, 3 years old, first flight August 2021. Let's see, we're at 12:61 now, so there you go, one airplane dance coming up. Let me point the camera in the direction of the wind and let's do the airplane dance. Turning in, careful not to go into the camera. Yes! People around me will probably be looking like, what the fudge is he doing? That guy is severely mental. And indeed I am. Thank you all so much for 1250 likes, ladies and gentlemen. I am very, very thankful for that. Thank you so much. I do the best I can to give you the best quality streams I can, and I hope, and I'm glad to see that you guys are appreciative of that. The next airplane coming in, TAP Air Portugal, flight 668 arriving from Lisbon, an A321neo. Bank angle, indeed, Gendrosek. Right, the airplanes are still looking like they want to pass on my left side. And it's now 12:37, so the new METAR from 12:25 should be out. Let's have a look after, yeah, it touched down successfully. Right, let's see. A new METAR probably has been released now, and we'll do a refresh. 43 minutes out still, so no. No dice, no dice. Andy says decrab earlier. Sorry, I didn't crash. That's the most important thing. Any landing that you can walk away from is a good landing. In the meantime, a massive, massive big thank you to Thomas Kevergaard, who just now went ahead and gifted 10 more memberships. Thomas, thank you so much for your generosity. You didn't have to do that, but you went ahead and did it anyway. I hope that everybody who received a gifted membership from you will say thank you for it. Welcome to the Aurora Skyline's new members. Be sure to use those custom emojis that you now have at your disposal for a month. Use them however you see fit. Spamming is not allowed, but custom emojis you can use as much as you want. Get creative with them, I implore you. This is KLM flight 1614 and we are expecting an Emirates 777 freighter after this. And Marcel says he was expecting a different face. If you go into the community section of the channel page, you will also find more pictures. I have ground crew here regularly and we have had several selfies and group pictures that I posted over the course of many months. So if you want to see more pictures, have a look in the community tab of the channel page. A380 is almost in Dutch airspace. Petrikov says, what's the ETA of the A380? Is it still 105 or something? That's of course the Emirates we're all waiting for, and hopefully we're still hoping for is going to be assigned to the Polderbaan. This is Emirates Sky Cargo flight 9906, arriving from Dubai World Center. 777 freighter, 6 hours and 39 minutes on the way. That's 9 minutes longer than normally is average for the A380 at this stage. Probably a bit of headwind. The ETA now just changed to 107, so with a 99.99% degree of certainty, I can now tell you that the Emirates A380 is going to land on the center runway, barring a late opening of the center runway, of course. They were early with opening up the center runway this morning. Usually between 11 and 11:40 they open up the runway secondary for arrivals for an inbound peak, but they already did that today at 10:45. I'm hearing traffic overhead. I'm looking up, but I'm unable to see anything because there are clouds once again in the way. Luckily, there's also blue in between. It's a mixed bag of friendly clouds together with bits of blue. For now, it looks like it is going to stay dry for a bit longer. Wolfgang and Jörg are contemplating, should we open up mission 1500, which a while back got started, get 1500 likes while during the live stream, and they'll release 50 gifted memberships. Earlier, John Dutch Canadian was also on board, and they're still wondering if John is on board. I'm not sure if he is still around, so I'm not sure if Project 1500 can resume. Their contour says planes going in front of the A380 are going to the Oostbaan. That doesn't necessarily... Oh wait, no, that is a good thing. The A380 is too big to land on the Oostbaan, so if they're opening up the Oostbaan as secondary runway, that means that the A380 is coming here, ladies and gentlemen. That is good news. Oostbaan is too small, so the A380 will come to the Polderbaan, folks. What a sweet change of events there. Didn't see that one coming. I really thought they were going to open up the center runway as secondary runway, but I guess they didn't. Peter K, just back after a good schnitzel. Well, I have good news for you, Peter K. It looks like the A380 is coming this way. Oostbaan 0422, but runway 22 is going to be opened as secondary runway from 1 o'clock onwards. But the A380 is too big. It cannot land on the Oostbaan. That is a plot twist indeed, with capital letters, Jeff. Where's that? There it is. I think even... No. That's the one I was looking for. Oh, mate. In the meantime, a warm welcome to Patrick Nele, who just became our latest Aurora Sky Lounge member. Patrick, welcome to the club, mate. Many have gone before you and will happily show you around in the Aurora Sky Lounge. Thank you for your vote of confidence. Hope you're going to like it in the lounge. Don't forget to use the custom emojis that are now also at your disposal. Hey there, Stacy. I just did a dance. I'll do another at 1500. Fidel Castro is also hovering there. And this is KLM flight 1502. Oh man. The wind is getting a bit more gusty, it looks like. Makes it a bit more difficult to follow the airplanes at certain angles. Guess I need to put my big face in front of the camera and between the wind more often. Use it as a windbreaker. Mark Nesse, goedemiddag. Thank you for the kind words, mate. So yeah, if they are going to open up the Schiphol Oostbaan as secondary runway, that is great news. Let's see, Bezoek Bus. Have a look at the expected runway use. Yeah, Oostbaan is an option. Oh no, that was earlier. They already are going to open up Oostbaan. That's great news. Have a look, it's basically confirmed over here. Polderbaan and Oostbaan will open up from 1 till 2. That's great for the small airplanes, but that is not good for the A380. It is too small. And Paul, you might as well, if you haven't already, delete him off the channel permanently. Casper confirmed. Polderbaan Dan says, yep, A380 is coming to town, ladies and gentlemen. What a nice treat. Oh, let's hope it's going to go around. Let's hope we can see it twice. Hey Tom, also in the chat. Good to see you, mate. The A380 is coming to the Polderbaan, ladies and gentlemen. Whoop-de-doo, that is great news. Thank you so much, Paul. Trolling will be trolls will be trolling. Trolling. It's a good sign. It's an indication that we are a forum big enough and an audience wide enough for trolls to want to be trolling in. So I guess we should take it as a compliment. The airplane Dan summons 380 landings. I think you might be right, Jendrosek. We'll have to look into that further in upcoming streams. Grand Kiora, good time to join the chat. Indeed, absolutely. The A380 is coming to town, landing on the Polderbaan because the Oostbaan, which is the secondary runway from 1 till 2, is too small for it. Oh, poor us. I guess we'll have to endure looking at the Emirates A380 land here on the runway we are standing right next to. I know it's a terrible disappointment. I know you guys wanted to see it from the side going to the center runway. I know you guys were looking forward to that. I am so terribly sorry. My sincerest apologies. We really need to speak to ATC about this. Yeah, it is absolutely a lovely location, Petrikov. If it is in use, absolutely it is. This is KLM flight 1602, arrival from Rome. It's an A321neo, and this is the FAX F. Have they already resorted to using FAX F? Is this then the latest in the fleet? First flight was in April 2025. And I think you may be right, Joke. The A380 probably isn't the only one that doesn't fit on the Oostbaan. Now there is also a Suburna coming, but that is expected later in the afternoon. Jörg has to go. Jörg, mate, thank you so much for joining us here. Happy that you're able to join us for the duration of the stream. Enjoy the rest of your day. And hopefully, maybe you'll be able to drop in for a few seconds tomorrow. If not, then hopefully see you again later next week. And indeed, like Wolfgang says, bis bald. See you soon. Dukman says we should drink a vodka to drink our sadness away regarding the A380. Well, as it happened, I just received some money via PayPal from a certain Dukman to buy some vodka to drink away that sorrow. What a nice coincidence. How about that? Yeah, we should get drunk to drink away our sorrows. The A380 is coming this way. And look closely, you'll be able to see that this is indeed Gary Grebe, the mother ducker. I'm sure he doesn't see that I am pointing my camera towards him, otherwise he would have dived under. Because that's what he usually does. Now look closely. And let me go to autofocus so that you can see it more closely. Donald is having a nap over there.